Speaking as someone who loves Frozen, the trolls in Frozen are unbearable. They're annoying, their jokes are painfully unfunny, they think that people don't really change, and they somehow make things more convoluted and confusing by trying to explain things. So let's imagine a better version of Frozen in which there are no trolls. Today's What If is going to be a bit different than the ones I've been doing. Normally what I do is I change one plot element, I have everything leading up to that change be the same, and then the story can go off into whichever direction I want. I also have not been playing by the rules of what they would actually do in the actual movies, allowing myself to go darker and more violent. But this is going to be more of an example of how to rewrite. I'm going to be explaining how they could have told the story they wanted to tell, while removing an element that seems critical to the story. I haven't heard anything like this, but I would believe that at some point when they were working on Frozen, somebody said, we have to remove the trolls, these things aren't working. But then somebody said, we can't, because if you remove them, everything else collapses. If there's no trolls, then nobody saves Anna at the beginning, no one explains how magic works, nobody adjusts Anna's memories, nobody tells them that they need an act of true love, stuff like that. But it can be done. There might be a few of you out there who are writing your own stories and realizing there is a character or plot element that you just don't like, but you're not sure how to remove it without everything collapsing. So perhaps you can apply what I'm about to say to your stories. For the rest of you, you can at least be validated in your correct opinion that the trolls were not a necessary evil. At the beginning, Elsa and Anna are playing with Elsa's ice powers. Elsa accidentally strikes Anna with her magic, and they take her to the trolls, who adjust Anna's memories and prevent the spread of infection. So what are we going to do without the trolls? So the trolls, specifically Grandpappy's contributions here, are Anna's augmented memories, the prevented spread of infection, and the exposition about how magic works. Anna is not supposed to know about Elsa's powers later on, so instead of adjusting her memories, let's just say that she never knew about Elsa's powers to begin with. In the opening, instead of having Elsa create snow right in front of Anna, we'll have Elsa create snow in an area when no one's looking, and then she'll bring Anna outside and say, look at all this snow that just fell last night. Completely naturally, of course, let's play. You might think that in order to cover for the lack of troll magic, we'd have to throw in more convolution to make this work, but the change I've suggested actually makes things simpler than she used to remember that Elsa had powers, but her memories were tampered with, so she remembered the snow that Elsa created, but she doesn't remember that the snow was created by Elsa, even though she used to know that but doesn't anymore. So we've now eliminated the need for Anna's memories to be augmented. So what about the spread of infection? In this version, we will not have Elsa shoot a blast of magical ice directly into Anna's head. Instead, we'll have a moment when Elsa's having a panic attack, creating a bunch of ice spreading, and she's unknowingly spreading that ice to where Anna is. Perhaps Anna is in a cabin and the door starts freezing shut and she can't get out and she starts getting hypothermia. And by the time the parents break open the cabin to rescue her, she's curled up in a ball, shivering, and that is the reason why Elsa secludes herself from Anna. The third contribution that they made was explaining how magic works. Even though Elsa's magic is one of a kind, so they should have no frame of reference, but anyway. So in this version of the story, we will instead take advantage of the fact that these characters know nothing about magic. It makes more sense for the parents to lock Elsa in a room all day and prevent Elsa from interacting with people, because they have no guidance in this. In the movie, the trolls adopted Kristoff, but all we need to do is say Kristoff has parents, and there's functionally no change that needs to be made. So with this version of events, we can have every major plot point for the next few scenes happen exactly the same, with the only difference being the lack of the white streak in Anna's hair, and the lack of her saying that she dreamt she was kissed by a troll, and that's what created it. We still have the parents dying at sea. We still have Elsa staying in a room all day. We still have the coronation day come up. We still have her struggle to hide her powers, and Anna still falls for Hans. Elsa still freaks out, loses control of her powers, and ends up leaving while freezing the kingdom accidentally. Anna goes off to find her. She meets Kristoff, who just isn't adopted by trolls. They still go to Elsa's palace. She still strikes Anna in the heart with her magic. Now, here's where things get a little bit different. In the movie, after Anna gets struck with Elsa's magic, they go to the trolls to ask for help. The entirety of their contribution to this part of the movie boils down to two things. One is telling them that they need an act of true love to save Anna from a frozen heart. The other is pushing Anna and Kristoff closer together. We are rewriting things. That means we can go back and put in something that will make something later make more sense. So let us go back to the beginning. When Anna and Elsa are playing together as little girls, we can have Anna bring in some toys, and they can play out a little fairy tale story, and we can have Anna bring in a prince to break the princess's curse with a true love's kiss, because that's what happens in the fairy tales, as everybody knows. To which Elsa could point out to Anna that the prince and princess have just met each other, so there's no way they can have true love already. So Anna could be saying that a kiss is what's required to break a curse, but Elsa contests that it's actually the act of true love, which is what breaks the curse. So now that we've planted that, later on, when Anna is under the effects of the curse, she can realize that her situation is similar to that of a fairy tale, and given that situation, it stands to reason that the rules of a fairy tale could apply to her, so she concludes that a true love's kiss is what she needs. So with that, we have completely subverted the need for the trolls to explain anything. The only other thing that they did when Anna and Kristoff went to see them was push Anna and Kristoff together. All we need to do to fix that is replace the Trolls song with a montage of Kristoff and Anna on their way back to the castle. Stuff like Kristoff being a gentleman and Anna still trying to carry her weight, despite the fact that she's suffering from the ice in her heart, which Kristoff finds very impressive. I would argue that that would be more effective than what the Trolls did. So now that we've implemented that, every single major plot point can still happen the same, with only slight adjustments to just the dialogue. So Elsa gets locked up just like in the movie. Kristoff brings Anna back to Hans. She begs for a true love's kiss, with the only change being that she doesn't say she needs an act of true love, she just says that she needs a true love's kiss. Hans betrays her, reveals himself to be the villain. Elsa creates the snowstorm. Kristoff comes back. Anna escapes the room that Hans locked her in with the help of Olaf. Her initial plan is to get her true love's kiss from Kristoff, but then she decides to sacrifice herself for Elsa, thus performing her act of true love. And when the curse is lifted, this version of events comes with Elsa saying, "I told you it was the act of true love that counted." And then everything is the same from then on out. Elsa unfreezes the kingdom, Hans goes to prison, Kristoff and Anna kiss, they open up the gates and have their ice skating party. We have done it. We have removed a seemingly necessary portion of the story, and we have lost absolutely nothing. It can be done. Instead of needing to figure out who does something to make the story work, you can go back and make sure that you don't need that something to be done. Instead of having someone exposition everything, you can have the characters figure things out on their own. Instead of having side characters try to push the main characters together, you can just use that time to have the characters come closer naturally. If you're interested in my other What If videos, just be prepared for them to be a little bit different from how this went. The beast explodes through the front door, vengeance in his eyes. The way to the lights is in the brains. Rapunzel will eat the brains, and then Rapunzel will know the way to the lights. After landing on top of it, Naveen points his Tommy gun into the monster's chest and unloads every shot he has at point-blank range. She casts up spikes that impale them and hold them up as decorations. The few guards that get close to her are frozen by her touch and shattered like glass. Mirabelle holds her down and stabs the knife into her back. She's not sure that was enough, so she takes it out and stabs again. And again and again. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and not have trolls in Frozen.